Hello, welcome to Drumninja Studio, online drum and percussion tracks. My name is Rory Fashon. I'm the drummer as well as the engineer. I built this studio because I love doing studio work and I love playing drums. This video is a way for me to kind of personalize the studio and put a face, behind the studio, because a lot of times when you're buying stuff off the internet, sending money, it's kind of strange. And a lot of the websites that are out there are a little impersonal, so I kind of want to give you a tour of the studio and kind of see where your drum tracks are coming from. Need a snare drum? Here we have every snare drum you could possibly want, from steam bit 1-ply to vintage chrome over brass Ludwig. We have solid shell bell brass. We have boutique drums like Benny. We have a Zildjian snare, a 1968 Black Beauties, 1980 Black Beauty. So pretty much every palette you could think of for a snare drum. And what I usually do is when you send me a track to record acoustic drums, I'll listen to the song, kind of figure out which 3 to 4 snare drums fit your track, pick those 4 snare drums from here, then audition them by playing them along to like a section in the song, listening back, and seeing which one really sounds the best, and that's a snare drum I'll use on your track. Here's a nice shot of the tracking room with the drums mic'd up on the real acoustic kit. This is the Tree Phantom Carbon Steel drum set. Here are a couple innovative features I'd like to talk about. Notice the bass drum has a couple quilts over it, and that is to reduce the bleed from the cymbals and the snare drum into the bass drum mic, and it really helps tremendously. I also have some baffles built around the drum kit that kind of make a room inside of the large room here. What it does is it controls the sound of the drums from hitting the wall and slapping back into the microphone. The baffles are removable, so where I have them is where I usually keep them. If I want a more open drum sound, a more live sound, I can push them closer to the walls or take them out of the room. And here the baffles are moved in really tight to make a more compact, tighter drum sound. So you can see how they're moved in and kind of made like a small room within this very large drum room. Here we have my Roland TD20V drum set. This is where I perform all of my MIDI files, recording MIDI information into Pro Tools. If you're interested in MIDI files, this is the drum set that I'll use to give you a personalized, dynamic performance to your song. So if you're looking for percussion on your song, I have a wide variety of percussion instruments, such as congas, tablas, cajon, timbales, tongue drum, octobans, rain sticks, tambourines, and various shakers and noisemakers. If you decide to use Drumninja Studio for your drum tracks, I'll need a WAV file of all your instruments in a stereo mix. Or you can send me individual mono tracks of each instrument. If you have a reference drum track, please send that in a separate WAV file. I can take MP3s, but I'd much rather have WAV files. You also need to send me those starting at 0 in your session, which means at the very beginning. That way when I send you my tracks, you don't have a problem lining them up. I'll need to know your sample rate, 44.1 or 48, your bit rate, 16 or 24. I'll also need to know the tempo, BPM, that you recorded your song. If you recorded your song to a drum machine, please send me the click track in a separate WAV file. That way I can play along to it and make sure everything lines up. If you want MIDI files, please let me know what drum plugin that you're going to use. I use Steven Slate, Superior Drummer, Addictive Drums, BFD2, but I can send any kind of general MIDI is what I record my MIDI files, so I can just send you a MIDI map that tells you what drum is located on which note. I like to keep communication open. If you have a reference for your song, like a certain artist or a certain song, please let me know, because that'll put me in the right direction or the right vibe when I'm playing your song. Usually what I like to do is play through the song a bunch, and the drum part will kind of start to reveal itself. Once I feel like I've nailed your song and recorded a really good drum track, I'll send you an MP3 for your approval. If there's anything you would like to change, please give me minutes, seconds, or bar numbers and a brief example of what you would like to change. I do allow one change per song. I also have some examples here on the website that are raw drums. What they are the drums recorded with no effects, no compression, no EQ. This is exactly what you'll get. Now, I do have the drums with certain levels, like the kick drum a little hotter than the snare drum, the room mics down a little bit, so that I am controlling. But as far as listening to the songs on SoundCloud, this is exactly what you will be getting from the acoustic drums. Also on the raw drum tracks, the track labeled Rock, 70s, Loop, Metal. The 70s sound was achieved by heavily baffling the drums. That's how I got that nice, thuddy 70s sound. The loops are recorded with a copperphone microphone. There's no filter, compression, or EQ on that track. That is exactly how the audio sounds. So if loops are something you would like, just let me know. Thanks for checking out Drumninja Studio. I really look forward to working with you on a song in the very near future.